Here we are at Anaconda 4, Trail of the Blood. After the giant waste of time that is Anaconda 3 Offspring, I don't really have high hopes. But we've made it this far, so we might as well see what happens and how it all ends. Spoiler alert, it's with a cliffhanger, like every other creature feature in existence. Trail of Blood pretty much follows right after Anaconda 3, with the Blood Orchid storyline and Murdoch trying to use him to save his own life. Now he's hired some guy to try to make the serum he needs to beat his bone cancer, and it looks like he's made some progress. But now the snakes can rejuvenate. If you remember, the Blood Orchid flower has the ability to be a fountain of youth, but right now it only works for snakes. Murdoch is hoping to make it work for humans and then change the world. But of course he's greedy, so he's the bad guy. This dude here goes to take care of his plants, and the snake escapes. Uh-oh, he's a goner. Now we hop over to Murdoch's mansion, where he meets with Eugene, his hired gun. He hasn't heard anything from his guy in the jungle for weeks. We know it's because he's dead, but Murdoch thinks he found a new buyer for the serum and he's screwing him over. So Eugene and his team are tasked with finding out what happened, retrieving the serum, and, if he has time, take out Amanda. Remember her? The good guy from part 3? Yep, they brought her back, which honestly I'm kinda glad they did. She's pretty easy on the eyes. While out wandering around, she comes across Alex.
You lost?
A student who's just at the wrong place at the wrong time. He's going to school to be a paleontologist, so he's out here looking for a dig site. But I don't think he had get chased by a giant snake on his itinerary. The last group of poor souls out here are real paleontologists led by Johnny Cage. I'm glad to see he's still getting some work. Here, his name's Jackson, and he's our male hero of the movie. The rest of his team aren't really that important. There's Scott, who I think is the medic, and then there's Heather. She's Jackson's love interest, and you might look at her and think, she's kinda cute, but look at her IMDb profile. She's smoking. Man, makeup's a crazy thing. How is this girl? Anyway, they're Team B. Team A has been out here working on a dig site, and then all of a sudden, radio silence. As they're driving, they come upon a fallen tree that they can't pass. So it's on foot they go for the rest of the way until they get to base camp. Back to Amanda and Alex, who are investigating a small hut in the jungle, and inside, she finds the blood orchids the dude from the beginning was growing. But these are hybrids. They're much more stronger. Amanda's goal in all this is to destroy everything and put an end to what she started in part 3. But before she can blow it all up, the Anaconda swings by to complicate the matter. They both escape in a nearby mine, and the snake follows suit. The two get split up, and it looks like Amanda's toast. How's she gonna get out of this one? Oh, well, that was lucky. What were the chances that the ceiling would just happen to fall right there at that time? Anyway, she meets back up with Alex and they find a way out. Well, almost. Amanda falls and is knocked out. Alex goes to get the Jeep, but he drops the keys. What a dummy. Meanwhile, the snake starts to rejuvenate without a scratch on him. Or her. I don't know. How can you tell the sex of an anaconda? Jackson makes it to base camp, but no one's home. Hello? It's too late to turn back now. It'll be dark soon, so they decide to hang out there for the night. Heather and Jackson make out a bit around the fire. How romantic. But she gets bit by a spider. Luckily, it isn't the spider from part 2 that paralyzes you. This one just makes you sick for a couple days. You all right? With her taken care of, the guys can go check out the dig site. And well, they find their missing crew. Amanda makes it back to the car with the keys and is able to drive around in circles for a while, all while Alex watches. Why? I don't know. She ends up flipping the car and shoots at the snake, which gets the paleontologist's attention and the mercenaries who are out hunting for her. Everyone runs to a clearing where they see the duo being chased by the giant snake. This guy tries to play hero to buy them some time, but all he ends up doing is becoming a snake snack. They all run around the woods for a while, Scott coming face to face with a tree. I wonder if that was improvised. They split up, the snake eats more people, but in the end, all the important characters make it back to base camp. Eugene's in charge of the situation at the moment, and he demands to know where the serum is. With no one talking, he starts picking off innocent people, one by one. So finally, Amanda chirps up. She doesn't know where the serum is, but it's gotta be back out there, where the snake is. So her and a few others, along with the mercenaries, head into the jungle while the others wait at base camp. At night, they finally make it to the house from the beginning, where the guy was doing all the research. Surely his notes are here, or a few vials of the serum could be found. But after looking everywhere, nothing. It's too dark to head back now, so the mercenaries lock Amanda and Scott in a room for the night. But luck is on their side, because they find a few floorboards loose, and inside is a small vial of serum. Just what they've been looking for. But only one? It seems like there should be more, and Amanda knows it's hidden elsewhere, so Murdoch wouldn't be able to get his hands on it. Outside, one guy goes to take a leak. Why he doesn't just pee inside like a normal person is beyond me, but I get it. I'm a man. I like to have the ability to pee outside, if I want to. But not when there's a giant killer snake on the loose. Yeah, he gets eaten. How did he not see a 60-foot anaconda hanging from a tree? With this distraction, our heroes manage to escape out the house and hide in a nearby shed. They argue back and forth a bit, Scott losing his temper and throwing something, which was hiding the rest of the serum, and the scientist's notes. So that's good. Amanda can now destroy it, and all of this will be over. But there's a lot of movie left, so I'm guessing that doesn't happen just yet. They run back to base camp, but are stopped by the mercenary who somehow lived through the night. They all argue back and forth a bit until finally Scott knocks his lights out and the snake comes to finish the job. In a last-ditch effort, the guy actually does a heroic move and goes to sacrifice himself using grenades. It doesn't work though. Now it's Scott's turn to play hero. But once again, this only buys Amanda, 5 seconds? Why do people keep doing this? Don't kill yourself just to give someone a 5-second lead. Meanwhile, Murdoch shows up at base camp, having heard that his serum is on its way. When he goes into the tent, he sees this guy. Who is he? Why do I care? I honestly don't know. I think I remember him from earlier, but he wasn't that memorable. Whatever his name is, here's working with Eugene to double-cross Murdoch. But it doesn't matter, because only seconds after the reveal, he's shot and killed. Jackson ends up getting shot in the shoulder, but you wouldn't know it because for the rest of the movie, he acts just fine. Everyone's about to make their escape, but then Murdoch stops them. He offers our heroes a deal. They hand over the serum, and he won't shoot them. With no other choice, Amanda complies, and they're set free. Murdoch injects himself, I guess just trusting that the serum will work. And luckily for him, it does. Instantly, he's back to 100%. The camera spins all around for a while, and I think I'm gonna be sick. But don't forget about the giant man-eating snake. Murdoch comes face to face with it, and that's all she wrote. Game over. All our heroes have to do now is escape the woods, then they're home free. But to throw a wrench in the plans, Eugene wakes up and starts tailing him. Amanda makes a pit stop to finish what she started, and she blows up all the hybrid blood orchids. They make it to the fallen tree and switch cars, where Eugene hops on for a ride. He shoots out the window and hits Amanda in the process. Jackson goes back to fight. Remember that bullet wound in his shoulder? Yeah, you wouldn't even know it's there now. They fight back and forth a bit, and oh yeah, the snake's coming for him too. So that's just great. Amanda pours the serum all over Eugene, which will attract the snake to him. She pulls the pins on a few grenades and kicks him out the car, where the snake promptly chews him up and gets blown to bits.
Let's see you try and regenerate from that.
And of course, it all ends with a cliffhanger. Oh no, the snake's still alive! What will happen next time? Well, you'll never find out, because that's the last Anaconda movie. Well, there is one more, but there's a whole other series we're gonna have to watch before we get to that one. And believe it or not, there's a reboot in the works. Here's hoping and praying that they bring back Jon Voight for that one, if even just for a cameo. But what did you think of Anaconda's Trail of Blood? Now, I don't know if it's the third one that made me numb or what, but I think it was actually a little bit better. Now, it's not great. The acting is still pretty bad by the supporting cast, and the CGI snake still looks like a high school animator did all the work. But I don't know, it didn't seem to be as bad as part 3. Amanda was pretty likable, and you do end up rooting for her the whole time. And I also like Murdoch. Even though he's the bad guy, he's still only trying to save his life, and you can't really blame the guy for that. And John Rhys Davies does a great job in the role. Good for him for being in part 4 of Anaconda. He's a better actor than this movie deserves for sure. For a lot of people, myself included, snakes are creepy, let alone giant snakes. However, I think at least in movies, it's best to keep them more of an elusive cryptid in the rainforest, like they did in the first one. Bringing in all these corporations and mercenaries and scientists with serums and the Fountain of Youth, it all just gets a little far away from Anaconda's roots, which is, now say it with me, a movie about how hot Jennifer Lopez is. I give Anaconda's Trail of the Blood 1.5 Anna Eulerus with makeup out of 4.
I can't help it. I am a slave to the rhythm.